Kia ora, Helen Brahms here, coming to you live from Hazen in Arkansas. Hope you're all having a super fantastic sparkling morning. It is going to be an awesome day. Why? Because you have decided that it is. It's that simple most of the time. But yeah, it is. It's going to be an awesome day. So what are your challenges for the day? I hope you've had a great start. We've been out for a walk. Zeffie tried to examine a frog up close. Yeah, I wasn't too sure about that one. Had a bunch of dragonflies flying around us. It was amazing. Came in, had some breakfast, had some awesome training calls. Just been working on a couple of things that had to be done, and then I suddenly realized what the time was. And I haven't done my live yet. So here I am. So what are your challenges? Your challenges today are all based around creativity in different ways, but all in different ways. So for example, your mindset is going to be all about doodling. And you're going, doodling? Yes, doodling. You can actually, there's a great article done by Harvard Medical School, put out this great article back in 2016 about the benefits of doodling. And I'm going to share that, I'll share that link in the comments so that you guys have that. But it is really, really cool when you go through and you look at it. And I've known about the benefits of doodling because I do it all the time, but I didn't actually realize that some of the benefits included things like it improves your memory and concentration. And I'm like, how the hell? And so I'm reading through this thing, and it said that they actually did these reviews of, they put groups of people, what was it? They say that doodling is a form of fidgeting, and that in addition to paying continuous attention, it places a strain on the brain. But by doodling, you're helping the brain to relax, thereby you're not losing interest. And they actually did and it helps relieve stress. That one I always knew because I like to doodle when I'm stressed. But there was one thing in here, and I can't find where it is, but they said that they sat these people down in two controlled areas listening to the same piece. In one, they had the people sit and concentrate on what was being said, and in the other room, they allowed them to doodle while they sat and listened to the same 2.5-minute piece. And when they tested them after the piece, those that had been doodling actually retained more information than those that hadn't. I thought, well, that's kind of interesting. But they say it's kind of it gives the brain a break while it's still absorbing information. So I thought that was really cool. And of course, doodling is a great stress relief. Whenever I am watching a movie or unless I'm in a movie, even in a movie theater, I'm fidgeting. I'm always fidgeting. But when I'm sitting at home and I'm watching a movie at home, my hands have to be busy. And it could be something as simple as a lot of times, sometimes I will sit and read while I'm watching a movie. Yes, I do both together, and yes, I can tell you all about the movie at the end of it, and I can tell you what I was reading in the book. Or I will knit or crochet. I'll play games on Brad's iPad, like doing the jigsaw puzzle things. I'll sit and do a jigsaw puzzle if I was at home and had a table in front of me. But I will always be doing something else, or even just sitting and doodling. I've been known to do quite a few doodles while I have been watching movies and stuff. Sometimes something will capture on the screen and I'll try and recreate it. It never looks the same, but it's kind of fun anyway to give it a go. You know, I've always found doodling to be very relaxing. That's one of those fiddly things that I like to do. And even when I'm taking notes, you'll see, sometimes you'll see a lot of doodles in my notes as well, because I'm paying attention. There's nothing I really want to write down at the time, but I'm just sitting there and I'm just doodling. And of course I use my colored pen, so I might change colors. Sometimes I'm not even conscious of the fact that I'm doodling. I'll be sitting there and I'm thinking I'm taking notes, and I'll look down at my piece of paper, and you know, when I'm looking down, I think I'm writing words, but when I actually look back again, so I'm out of my mind at times. Brad would have told you that's a normal state. And I'll look down and I've actually drawn pictures rather than actually written out what was being said. So it's kind of interesting, or I kind of get so engrossed in what's being said, I'm not conscious that my hand is actually drawing little pictures and things. So yeah, it's kind of interesting. But I'll post the link for this article on doodling. It was very interesting and enlightening. The other one is, and so for your business goal today, it is all about mapping, and it's mind mapping. Have you ever tried mind mapping? I love to mind map. All my people in my mastermind group know that if I turn it, they say, okay, I want you to list out all it is. They know, your homework for this week is to go do this. and I'll be like, okay, and I'm sitting there thinking craft paper, markers. I have a container full of different colored Sharpie markers. There's like about 20 or 30 in there, and then I have my rolls of craft paper, and I sit there and I will map out the things, and people got to know me in the group so well that someone turned around and says, craft paper, Helen? I went, yep. Or I'll need to just say, need my craft paper. But it's a great thing for things. So like you put so how my map works, you put a central idea in the middle, and from that you have these spokes come out with like your main thoughts, and then from those thoughts can lead to other thoughts and stuff. And I was looking, and there is if you don't want to do it with pen and paper, that's fine. There is a really cool app on time. It's called MindMeister, and I'm going to turn this around so that you can see. Now this is one that I did back in 2017, and as you see, it's got there the top 10 countries to visit in 2018, and let's see if I can. So this is one that I did on the computer, and as you can see, it's extensive. So what I did is that there's each country listed, each of these main ones coming up have a country listed, and then I zero in on, and oops, hang on, which way is it going? So it goes all the way up here, but you can see there's all these little bits coming off. So let's go down here to number 5, only because I know number 5 very well. Well, I wonder what number 5 will be. Top 10. Look at that, it's New Zealand. What did you think? So from there, I've gone out and I've branched off into separate categories. And so from my main thought of New Zealand, I've got, 2018, the Great Walk opens, what the walk, and then over here, what the walk is about. It's Middle Earth, so you've got the Hobbiton, Weta Caves, Lord of the Ring tours in Wellington, Lord of the Ring tours around Queenstown. And this was just brain dumping what I knew at the time. Year-round adventure seekers paradise, because you've got, bungee jumping, hiking, great walks, bookings a must, kayaking, rivers and sea, mountain biking, including heli biking. Yes, heli biking is a thing. Jet boating through shallow riverbeds. Let's bring this up a little bit so it's easier to see. Whitewater rafting, and I can actually go off each of these and put like kayaking, rivers and sea. Like put there the Wanganui River. I could put there Abel Tasman National Park. I could put Cathedral Cove in there. The different places in New Zealand you could go kayaking in the rivers. Mountain biking, you've got down in Wanaka, you've got Queenstown, you've got up in Tongariro National Park. You've got so many places around New Zealand, you can just about mountain bike the entire country. Jet boating through shallow riverbeds, you've got the Kawerau River and the Shotover Jet. You also have the Waikato River as well, and going up to Hooker Falls. Whitewater rafting, they have a ton of different places in New Zealand that you can go, all different grades. They even have a grade 6, which is Hooker Falls, and you do not go whitewater rafting on Hooker Falls. Because of the ways the falls goes, nobody would ever come out of there alive. Cave tubing, this is going through one of the caves in the Waitama. You've got the Black Labyrinth, where you go cave tubing through there to see the glowworms. Surfing, there are so many beaches in New Zealand that are designed for surfing and stuff. Skiing, including heli skiing, you can ski on the Mount Ruapehu's got great ski fields up there. You can go down to Mount Hutt, just from a short drive from Christchurch. You can go down to Queenstown and Wanaka, and you've got all the mountains down there, the Remarkables and the Alps and stuff, where you can go skiing. And the heli skiing, they take you up in helicopters to fresh, and skiing you can also lump in there snowboarding as well. Heli skiing or heli snowboarding, they take you up into the virgin powder snow, and you drop out of helicopters and onto the virgin snow, and you just ski down the snow. Lugeing, you can do that in Rotorua and in Queenstown. Zorbing, zorbing was invented in New Zealand, and if you don't know what zorbing is, those are those big giant clear balls that you crawl in through a tunnel into a smaller ball on the inside and go rolling down a hillside. That was in Rotorua. Schweebing, that is a really interesting thing. It's got these tracks where you've got capsules that hang from these tracks, and you've got tracks that go side by side and cross over, so you can race around. And inside the capsule is like a recumbent bicycle, and you cycle your way around the tracks, racing each other. Swimming with the dolphins in their environment. We don't, you don't have the pools where you go, like in some places in the Caribbean, where you go and they've got these big fenced off areas where they have the dolphins in there, and they're basically held in captivity. These ones you actually go swimming with the dolphins out where the dolphins are. Sand surfing on the giant dunes. If you don't know what sand surfing is, you take a boogie board up these giant mountains, you climb them, and then you lay flat on your stomach and go zooming down the sand dunes. It's awesome. Stargazing in Mackenzie Country, exploring New Zealand's wine trails, dig your own hot water pool on Hot Water Beach. These are just some of the things that I came up with, things that you can do in New Zealand, and this was just off the top of my head. Then I came down here, and you can come all the way down to this one. As you can see, dynamic scenery. What sort of dynamic scenery do we have? Well, you've got the fjords and the bays. You've got Milford Sound, Doubtful Sound, and Dusky Sound all down there in Fiordland, which is a World Heritage Site, and you can actually do overnight cruises down there. You've got the Bay of Islands, which has 144 islands, one of them being the Hole in the Rock, where if the conditions are right, the captain will actually take the boat through the Hole in the Rock, and it is an incredible experience. There is not a lot of wiggle room through there, and the conditions have to be perfect. There's got dolphins. You can actually go swimming with the dolphins in the Bay of Islands. Bay of Plenty, you've got deep access out to deep sea fishing. You got White Island, which was in the news last year when it actually erupted, and some people were killed on it because people were touring the island at the time. You've got Golden Bay, and there's a lot of bays in New Zealand. These were just the ones I could think of immediately off the top of my head, because when you're doing mind mapping, it's immediate thoughts. It's not, oh, skiing, what could we put for that? No, it's instantaneous. You got mountains, you can go skiing. You got the Winter Festival in Queenstown, hiking, mountain biking, climbing. You got the volcanoes in New Zealand. You got White Island, Mount Ruapehu, Mount Ngātahoe, Mount Tarawera, which last exploded in 1886. You can actually go tour a buried village that they dug out from under the ash and everything else. Then the eighth wonder of the world was the pink and white terraces, which got buried by Mount Tarawera when she erupted. And so they have an idea where they may be. I don't know if they're thinking of actually trying to dig them out or not. Lake Taupo used to be a volcano. You got Rangitoto Island off the there in Auckland in the harbour. Another one I could add to that is also Wellington, because Wellington Harbour is an extinct volcano. The reefs coming in and out of the harbour were actually chunks blown out of the side, and then the seawater rolled in and filled up the volcano. 90 Mile Beach is where you can get the giant sand dunes. Raglan is good for surfing. Hot Water Beach, where you dig your own hot water pool, right there on the beach between low tides. You got Surf Highway 45 in Taranaki, which is all about surfing. East Coast surfing around Gisborne, Hastings, up around that area, around that the peninsula. Piha, which is I call it their iron beach because the sand is black, and you just run a magnet over it and it'll pull the iron out of the sand. It's what gives it the black colour. Great place for surfing. Mauraki boulders, they're these big giant round rock marbles. Cathedral Cove, you can hike there, you can kayak there. Prince Caspian's movie was filmed there along with a whole bunch of other movies. Tolaga Bay, this was a great place we visited when I was a kid, and had the longest wooden pier, and we went fishing off the end of it. In Taupo, you've got fishing, trout, it's part of the geothermal area. Oh, then we're on to lakes. So, just some of the lakes immediately there, and then coming down here, the geothermal area where in Rotorua, this is where it diverses. You've got the Māori culture with Tamaki Māori village, Te Puia, Champagne Lake. You've got the geysers, the different geysers that are there. You've got the boiling mud. You've got the thermal areas. Then you've got Taupo, which is part of the geothermal area. Then you've got rivers, some of the rivers there that you can go kayaking on. And that was just immediate. And this I typed up from having all of that. I actually ended up typing it up because I needed to share it with some people. And these blue things were, the blue things I put in there were events that were happening in that year. And so it's instantaneous. When you're mind mapping, you write down the initial idea, put your main ideas, and then you go branching off those. And it's just like instantaneous. Oh yeah, this one here, this one here, this one here. If I spent more time on this and did a lot of research, yes, I could add a bunch of things to it. But I wanted it quick. It's very quick, it's very fast, it's very flowing. I missed a whole bunch, and people from New Zealand will be looking at that and going, oh, but you missed this beach, you missed that beach, you missed this bay, you missed this river, you missed this, you missed that, Yeah, but it was just instantaneous, off the top of the brain, what I could think of at the time, and it just literally flows, which is why writing becomes better than typing it, because when you're writing, it's more fluid. And you, like I said, you put a central, like you can put who am I, and you can put out some of the traits that you definitely know about yourself, and then just go off from there. You can put there like you want a marketing idea for XYZ product, so you'll put there, so you may go list the benefits of the product that you know, list the features that you know, and then from there go out there and you'll come up with some out of the box ways of thinking and stuff like that. So that's all mapping, really fast lesson. What was that? I don't know. I think she just gave me a ball to play with, but it dropped on the floor. She tried to put it in my lap, but didn't quite reach. Mindset is about doodling. Business is about mapping. And then the fun is color. Just go find a picture, print a picture off the internet or whatever, and just color it in. A lot of times you'll see what kind of moods you are in based on the colors that you use. So if you're not feeling very well at the time, you may tend to use a lot of darker colors, or you may be using brighter colors because you want to brighten your day. And that's what I find with coloring, is that if I'm in a dark place, or a not so bright place, not so sparkly place, it's still sparkling, but just not as bright, it could be that I tend to pull towards the brights, the yellows, the bright greens, the oranges. That's those sort of colors, the happy colors that will help me get me out of my funk that I'm in at the time. Or it could be I am just in that funk and I just need to express it in some way, so I use a lot of dark colors to express the anger that I'm feeling, the fear that I'm feeling, the uncertainty that I'm feeling, just to help me process. It helps me process what I'm going through. The coloring is part of my emergency kit, if you want to call it that. And like doodling is part of it, mind mapping is part of it, journaling is another part, and it's things that will help me, that when I'm feeling not so, like I say, every day is, today is always super fantastic and sparkling no matter what happens. But there are days where I don't sparkle as brightly as others, and so on those days when I'm a little dull on the sparkle, I will go pull out my emergency kit and I will color, I will mind map, I will journal, I will doodle, I will do something that will either help me process the emotions that I'm going through. Once I have processed them, I will then use that kit again to help pull me out of those places. So, and plus coloring's just fun. It's a great stress reliever. It's just, you don't have to think. You don't even have to color in the lines. You can color however you want. Sometimes I do coloring where I get like markers, like felt tip pens and stuff, and I will outline the shape, and then I'll get the color pencil that matches it and shade it in, or I'll get a color pencil that's a darker shade or a lighter shade and color it in. So I'm outlining with the marker and then filling in with a pencil. So it's kind of interesting, different techniques, using two different colored pencils, like using a darker shade on the edges and then a lighter shade on the middle to give you that blended, and then using, where is it? The little, I have these things for drawing when I'm using charcoals and graphite, they're a blending tool. It's like very tight rolled up paper, and you use it to blend things, and based on the type of color pencils you have, you can have the soft leaded or the hard leaded. If you've got the soft leaded, they're very easy to blend, so sometimes I'll put 2 or 3 colors in there and then just blend them together to give me different shades. So it could be 3 shades of green to go from a light to a thing, and then I'll put a bit of white on there to help look like there's a bit of light coming off a green leaf. That's when I'm feeling very creative, and then just blend it all together. Other days it's just like, it's a leaf, it's getting painted green today, or it's a leaf, I'm painting this one yellow today. Just whatever strikes your fancy. And just because it's a leaf, it doesn't have to be pink, it doesn't have to be yellow, it doesn't have to be green, it could be pink, it could be purple. You could even put polka dots on it if you want. So those are your challenges for today. It's all about being creative, mindset, about doodling. And I will put the link to the Harvard Business article into the comments so that you've got that link there. Business is all about mapping, getting those ideas down on paper and just letting the thoughts flow. And they don't have to make, and here's the thing about the mind mapping, it doesn't have to make sense. We sat down with Brad one time, and he was a software architect, so that very logical list maker. He was a list maker, and he was going to be he had to come up with 20 things and list, and he was trying to list it out and it wasn't working. I said, well, let's try mind mapping. He goes, what's that? So I pulled out my craft paper and my markers, and we went to town, and he was going, and when he would just throw things out and I'd just write them down for him, because he didn't understand the concept of just writing it down. And he goes, no, that piece, that doesn't go on that one, it goes over here on that one. I said, this is your thought flow on this leg. When we finish with this leg, we'll go start another leg. I said, but for now, this is where it goes. Yes, we can still add it over here to this other one where you want it, but that will be later on when we get to that point, because we're working off this point right now and just wherever our thoughts take us. And it was actually very an interesting exercise, taking a logical thinker, list maker, engineering mind into something as what did he call it? He couldn't grasp the concept of having a mess on a piece of paper that actually made sense at the end of it. If you can to me, it made sense. To him, it was sort of like, he just couldn't comprehend the mess on the piece of paper. He wanted bullet points. Me, I want circles and lines going everywhere. I don't know, maybe it's part of my genealogy thing, I don't know. But I just wanted circles and lines going everywhere. So, mapping, and oh jeepers, what am I, oh yeah, and then your fun one is all about color. Just go find something and color it in, no matter what, you know. If you want to let your mood direct the colors, do that. If you want to use logical thinking for the colors, do that. If you want to get creative with your colors, do that. It's all about you today with, so doodle, mapping, and color. Those are your 3 goals today. Have a super fantastic sparkling day, and we will catch you guys this evening. Hakonera.